Invisible money mined out of thin air. So what is cryptocurrency and how does it work? Why has crypto's market value been a series of peaks and valleys? Plus, environmentalists warn crypto's creation destroys the planet. Now, the inside story, crypto's currency.
Hi, I'm Michelle Quinn, VOA's Silicon Valley Bureau Chief, here overlooking the San Francisco Bay with the Golden Gate Bridge behind me. Across the bay, San Francisco's skyline is populated with the world's technology giants. The city is the unofficial capital of Silicon Valley that has birthed tech giants like Google and Facebook. It is also home to burgeoning cryptocurrency companies like Coinbase, among many others. Like the tech giants that surround them, the crypto companies hope to change the world. So we're going to take you inside cryptocurrency, how it's mined, how it's used, how it gains and loses value, and the impact crypto mining is having on the environment. Recent fluctuation in values has raised concern among consumers about crypto's risks, but many investors are enthusiastic about the potential digital currency offers. James Wisdom, a Chicago art instructor and tattoo artist, regularly goes to his local grocery store to buy Bitcoin, also known by its trading symbol BTC.
Being able to go to CoinMe and buy BTC, especially where I get my groceries, is, I think, the future of capitalism.
While cryptocurrencies are not widely used to buy things, that has not curtailed their appeal.
But part of the beauty of Bitcoin and crypto is it gives access to global finances, to buying and selling, to transferring value instantaneously no matter where you are.
Crypto has inspired many first-time investors, especially those skeptical of traditional investing.
For newbies, I tell them, you should not speculate. Decide not to buy Starbucks for a week. Whatever that amount is, that's what you should start your investment in, right? And then learn.
Steve Leakey told his parents to invest in crypto when he was 10 years old.
Yeah, still pretty young.
His parents didn't take his advice, but Steve's uncle was buying crypto, so he did too. Riding the crypto roller coaster wasn't easy.
It was super hard because every day I found myself checking it, found myself looking where I'm at, and just that mental toll was a lot.
Government regulators are raising alarms about scams and investors who have lost millions.
There are elements in the crypto sphere that are designed expressly to take advantage of consumers.
I believe, you know what I mean? I believe, and I'm gonna hold on to what I have now.
Crypto supporters and skeptics are waiting to see what government regulators may do next. For many, digital currency represents a shift in how to think about your finances, from daily transactions to long-term savings and investments. To try to break down the opportunities and the barriers, I came here to the University of California, Berkeley, to speak to Professor Christine Parleur at the Haas School of Business about the challenges of making cryptocurrency user-friendly.
Cryptocurrencies are just digital ways of transferring value and information. That's sort of the way to think about them. The whole crypto and the currency part is just almost like a marketing ploy. These are not currencies.
But what's another way, is there some easy way to think about it? Like what I can do with it or think about it or?
One way to think about them, and it's kind of a little bit simplistic because these can be complicated and they can cover a wide variety of things, is think about airline miles. So airline miles are something that airlines give you that are valuable. Well, they could be digitized, and if they could be traded and transferred in a very easy way, then they kind of look a little bit like some of the cryptocurrencies out there. They're a claim to something, they represent something, and they can be moved around very easily from person to person. One of the ways in which cryptocurrencies are being used is essentially being used as a payment method. So we think of payments as essentially being sort of we just pay for stuff. We just don't really think about the backstory, what's behind it, how much it costs. Things like credit cards, even if you don't run up a debt, actually are super expensive. Why? Because the merchants are paying between 2, 10%, whatever, to the credit card companies, and ultimately those come back into the prices that you pay. So one of the innovations that we're seeing in cryptocurrencies, this whole class of things called stablecoins, are basically designed as a way of very, very cheap payment rails. They're also designed to transfer money internationally at really low cost. A lot of people send remittances, so they go and they work in a foreign country and they send money back to family, grandmother, whatever. These are really, really expensive remittance rails, and we're talking about essentially a tax on people who don't have a lot of money. So one of the potential innovations in crypto is just to reduce the cost of transferring value through these things called stablecoins.
A lot of people have invested and have lost in the past, particularly the past 4 months. How do you look at that in terms of kind of what it means for people, or also what it means for the trajectory of cryptocurrency?
So the technology is not going anywhere. So it's not something that's just going to explode and poof and we move on to something else. It's here to stay, one. Two, if you think about most of the ventures that cryptocurrencies are based on, so typically cryptocurrency is issued in the context of some little enterprise out there. These are typically quite small. So the types of returns that you should expect and the success rates that you should expect are much more similar to things like venture capital. And we know that venture capital returns, there are a couple of really, really big hits. Wow, I invested in Google. But there are gazillion companies that just go belly up. And so cryptocurrencies have really that kind of risk return profile. So that's a very, very specific, that's how you should sort of think about them as opposed to, say, equities, which are based on cash flows.
What do you think about the ability of cryptocurrency to bring more people into the have financial tools?
So the line between cryptocurrency and general digital innovation is a little bit kind of fuzzy. If you think about, say, for example, the success of Bcash in Bangladesh, it has been absolutely astounding. This is a digital, essentially a phone-based way of transferring value. It was backed by essentially the central bank. The adoption has just been absolutely exponential. And many, many people who previously it was too expensive for them to enter into the traditional banking system now can do it essentially through smartphones, or phones, not smartphones. And so we see more and more examples of this, using technology to let people have access to very, very needed financial services.
So this is our facility here in Niagara Falls, New York. We're converting this facility from what was an industrial building to a data center to mine Bitcoin. At the time, this factory was being used to actually strip down for scrap metal. Prior to that, this was actually a power generation plant where they were using coal and fossil fuels to generate, unfortunately, dirty power at the time. Block Fusion is a blockchain infrastructure company that uses renewable energy. At the facility, we actually mine Bitcoin. So traditionally, people would think about mining Bitcoin or like mining a resource, right? Very expensive equipment, guys with hard hats underneath the earth trying to get resources. In this particular case, we're mining Bitcoin, and while we are leveraging expensive hardware to do so, the resource is really about how quickly you can actually solve a particular algorithm, a mathematical equation on the blockchain to be able to go and obtain 1 Bitcoin. And now I'm going to take you into our Bitcoin mining facility where you'll see the hardware actually processing and mining for Bitcoin. This is our control room, just before you actually go into the mining facility itself. So I'm about to put some headphones on just because it's extremely loud in the mining facility. So I'm going to show you the miners themselves. These are not individuals mining, you'll see the actual computers themselves. And then I'll take you into the exhaust room. You'll see we'll be in the hot and the cold aisles. So the hot aisle where it expels all the hot air, and the cold aisle which has the cold air go through the actual computers themselves and the fans to expel the exhaust. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was each one of these computers do not work individually. They actually work together. They pool together the resources and the processing power like a supercomputer to be able to do the algorithms to actually be able to mine 1 Bitcoin. The total miners that we have here at the facility is about 2,600. We actually anticipate that by the time we build out the entire facility, we'll be somewhere between 12,500 to 15,000 units. This facility here in Niagara Falls, we are 5 miles away from the Robert Moses hydro plant. Absolutely critical for us when we chose this location that if we were going to consume energy, we wanted to make sure that it was renewable. So as we're looking at building this facility out into a data center, that was a critical factor in our decision making. So the Robert Moses Hydroelectric plant is the 4th largest hydroelectric plant in America. We're in Zone A. Our property is located in Zone A, which is about 5 miles from the actual dam itself and the plant. So we're in an ideal location to actually have most, if not all of our energy being supplied from that particular plant. One of the things that we do at the facility, especially when there's actually peak usage for power within the particular region, is we're enrolled in what's called demand response. So that's where if the grid themselves require more power back, we'll actually shut down our operations or curtail it back to actually provide that power back to the local community as required.
Crypto's emergence as a viable industry has many of America's states vying for a chunk of it, hoping it produces jobs for its residents. Central Texas is home to the largest Bitcoin mining facility in North America, and while it has produced jobs, critics warn of volatility ahead. Ardina Mitchell takes us to Rockdale, Texas.
My dad worked there 40 years. I worked at the generating plant that was across the street.
Steve Pruitt and his family were hit hard with the closing of the aluminum smelting factory in 2008, and more recently, a power plant. More than 1,000 jobs were lost in this small Texas town. But a new industry has arrived, crypto mining. Rockdale is now home to 2 Bitcoin mining data centers. Towns across Texas are seeing mining operations set up, especially after China outlawed crypto mining. Interest in the volatile cryptocurrency market has soared in recent years, even as many have lost money trading it. Rockdale welcomes the crypto miners.
We're open for business and to come on in.
Windstone, based in this town, is the biggest Bitcoin mining operation in North America. Chad Everett Harris, a Windstone executive, says there are several reasons to be here.
Texas is a deregulated market. The government itself encourages it. They offer incentives and programs and job training, and then the workforce here is just incredible.
Some locals here admit they aren't too sure what crypto mining is.
I don't completely understand it 100%, and I know a lot of people the same way.
But it has brought jobs. Some hope crypto mining will tide the town over until other industries can get going.
Until you get hardcore real manufacturing, like an aluminum company smelter, you're never going to see anything close to return to the days that we had enjoyed.
The mining operators have worked to be good neighbors. Jim Gibson is the town's economic development director.
They've donated a very large community Christmas tree. They've made donations to the police department for a new drug dog.
And being known as a Bitcoin mining capital has helped the town market itself. Gibson says his phone is ringing with crypto miners interested in setting up shop.
The problem that we get in with that is electricity availability and land and time. It's anywhere from 18 to 24 months to construct a brand new substation. And most of the people who call here, they need to be up and running within 3 months.
And the immense amount of energy needed to mine cryptocurrency is an issue. Before a recent heat wave, Windstone released this video message.
We will turn our power off. And during that time, that power that we're not using can be used in the grid itself so that it can support 200,000 or 300,000 homes.
All the crypto activity in town inspired Gibson to take the plunge himself.
I bought a cryptocurrency, I won't say which one, and it has not performed well.
Meanwhile, Rockdale's Bitcoin mining data centers continue to hum 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Dina Mitchell for VOA News, Rockdale, Texas.
The future of cryptocurrency and its impact on the environment are raising concerns around the globe. As some nations begin to reduce the use of cryptocurrency due to the risk of surging carbon emissions, the United States continues to lead the charge in crypto mining. VOA's Matt Dibble has the story of how U.S. lawmakers are weighing the industry's rapid growth coupled with the strain on energy supplies and impact on the climate.
Cryptocurrency requires an enormous amount of electricity, which today mainly comes from burning fossil fuels. The rapidly growing industry is often cited as a threat to fighting climate change. But some crypto miners are prioritizing green energy. Soluna Computing's John Belizaire says Bitcoin mining can even help overcome economic obstacles to building more solar and wind installations.
A lot of that renewable energy is wasted. Most people don't know, but up to about 30% of the energy never makes it to the grid.
It's called curtailment. Wind farms sometimes generate more electricity than needed, an unused surplus that makes renewable energy less profitable. That's where Bitcoin mining comes in, says Belizaire.
We build flexible data centers right at the location of the power plant that absorbs that wasted energy and converts it into computing that can be ramped up or ramped down very quickly.
This data center under construction at a wind farm in West Texas will use curtailed energy for cryptocurrency and other processing work. Efficient building design means no air conditioning. In the state of Kentucky, Soluna says its data center operates only when there is abundant power, including from nearby hydroelectric plants.
There's lots of places around the world where this wasted energy issue is a real challenge. And so by bringing this new fresh revenue to the marketplace, we can see more power plants come online.
Like the wind, Bitcoin's value fluctuates wildly. For now, crypto mining is providing some fresh revenue for renewable energy in a mutually beneficial relationship. Matt Dibble for VOA News.
In Africa, the nation of Nigeria is seeing a surge in its information technology sector. Research is showing, despite the growing interest, there is a huge disparity in the number of men to women entering the IT field. VOA's Timothy Obiezu has the story from Abuja on how educating women and girls on blockchain technologies and cryptocurrency is sparking gender equality.
60-year-old Elizabeth Onaji arrives for weekly cryptocurrency training for women in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. She says she enrolled in June to learn more about blockchain technology.
I believe that this is a worldwide project or business. Nigeria should not be the odd one out. We should also key into the global trend.
Janet Cartier runs the blockchain classes. She began free blockchain education for women in 2017 and says hundreds of Nigerian women have benefited from the training.
Yes, I'm always interested in teaching women so that they can also be part of what is happening in the technology space. You understand? And then you come to see a lot of women, mothers, are interested, are already taking this blockchain technology and making life out of it. Some are housewives, some are even working.
But like in many sectors, women are underrepresented in Nigeria's technology sector. Nigeria's Statistics Bureau says less than a fifth of IT workers are women, despite major growth in the industry over the last decade. Cartier's efforts are aimed at addressing this problem. Nigeria is Africa's biggest blockchain market. In this training, she partnered with the non-profit T'Challa Foundation to teach women about an African cryptocurrency called T'Challa that was introduced in November.
T'Challa is a hero that is coming up from Africa and to save Africa. And what we're trying to say is that it's time for Africa to have a voice in the blockchain space, and also Africa to have a voice when it comes to cryptocurrency.
However, blockchain technology experts say government policies could prove a challenge.
When you speak to people about cryptocurrency, they will try to remind you the government said it's not good for us. You know, it's a big barrier, and people tend to follow that.
In February, Nigerian authorities warned citizens against cryptocurrencies, saying they were unstable, and later in October launched a digital currency known as the e-Naira. But despite the risks and odds, women like Elizabeth and Cartier will be promoting cryptocurrencies and giving access to many others. Timothy Obiezu for VOA News, Abuja, Nigeria.
As the buzz grows around crypto and NFTs, so does the amount of advice that's out there. Ardina Mitchell went to Austin, the capital of Texas, to take us inside one of the country's largest conferences for cryptocurrency and blockchain.
After 20 years on Wall Street, Akash Patel now works for an investment firm based in India, which he says trades between 100 and 200 million a day in cryptocurrency. The promise of crypto, he says, is to offset the risk inherent with government-controlled currencies.
If you're in some place like Argentina, or if you're in an African country, how do you protect yourself against your own government making bad decisions? And that's why you decide to invest in something like Bitcoin or Ethereum.
At a recent gathering of crypto fans, Adam Charles was meeting with Trek, a YouTube star he promotes, who specializes in information videos about crypto.
99% of the world population learns how to download a wallet and buy the first cryptocurrency off of YouTube, so we got to make sure it's safe and also fun. Because it ain't fun, they ain't gonna watch it.
Olivia Janish, a crypto investor who works in brand strategy in Los Angeles, says she tells people to enter the crypto market based on their own comfort with risk.
Just read, listen to podcasts, educate yourselves, figure out what your comfort level with the risk is.
So how will this burgeoning industry change with this new regulation? Only time will tell. But for these crypto boosters, the future is bright. For VOA News, Dina Mitchell, Austin, Texas.
That's all for now from San Francisco. For everyone behind the scenes who produces this show, I'm Michelle Quinn. Follow me on Twitter at Michelle Quinn, and follow VOA News on Instagram and Facebook. Online, stay up to date at voanews.com. Thanks for being with us. See you next week for The Inside Story.